John Padgett. I had the honor of working with him on some projects throughout this state, and have grown to know John and his lovely wife Mary, and I love him to death. John is going to step up here and say a couple of words for us and introduce someone. So if you would please, those of you who come to my breakfasts know that I really, while we're talking, I really like to have attention up here. So let's give a courtesy to John Padgett right now.
A couple of ladies in the audience I'd like to introduce to you. First is my wife, Mary Padgett. And then standing off to my left, talking and politicking, is the immediate chair lady of the Georgia Republican Party, Ms. Sue Everhart. If you are a wife or a girlfriend or aunt or a grandmother or mother of an active duty member of our military or someone who has served in the past in our military, would you please stand? And ladies and gentlemen, these are some heroes here. Thank you. I'm sure that the governor is going to introduce her also, but I never miss an opportunity to introduce our First Lady of the state of Georgia, Ms. Sandra Deal. One little personal comment. While we're today remembering our independence and our freedom, I want to remind everybody that it comes with a cost. We've had great members of our military protect us and do good for our country for all these years that our country has been in existence. We always want to remember them and thank them. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, also comes a duty that you are responsible for. Maybe several duties that you are responsible for if you're a citizen of this great country. And I want to remind all of you, when we get to this election that's coming up, our runoff election, and then the election this fall, as citizens of this country, we have a duty to go vote. Some of us didn't go vote in the last presidential election, and we ended up with the mess that we've got in Washington. And we don't ever want to do that again, so I want to encourage you today to remember when you leave here, to talk to your friends and family, and be sure when we get around to voting, we go vote. It's my pleasure now to bring to the stage a great friend of the Georgia Republican Party, a great Republican. We love him. We appreciate him. Ladies and gentlemen, the governor of the great state of Georgia, Nathan Deal.
Thank you, John. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for being good Americans. And on a personal level, I want to say thank you to all of you for the hospitality that you've shown to me and to Sandra as we have tried to serve this state as the first couple now for a little over 3.5 years. And we're looking forward to finishing this year up on the same kind of success that we've had up to this point in time. We have some great candidates, and you have had the opportunity as you came in to see their booths and to hopefully meet some of them there. On behalf of all of them, I want to thank them for being willing to be candidates, to put their name on the ballot, to go through the ordeal and the process that the primary and now the general election puts a candidate through. I want to thank you for the support you've given me. For those that are in these runoffs in our primary, we wish them the very best. Thank you for allowing me to avoid having to go through a runoff in the primary. That was certainly a relief. But I think it's important that we all understand that once the primaries are over with, we need to unite behind our party's candidate. This is going to be a difficult election year. on many fronts. I have been blessed as governor to have majorities in both the state house and the state senate. And we have good candidates who are running for those positions now, and I want us to make sure we maintain that kind of control of our state legislative body. I am working hard as governor, and as you know, we have some real distinctions that have come our way. We are really leading the United States in a number of different areas. First of all, we have suffered probably as much as, if not more, than any state as a result of the Great Recession. We were a state that was growing and one that depended on our growth on construction. And construction came to an absolute halt when the recession hit. But it is rebounding, and we are seeing great evidence of the fact that it is going to continue to rebound. As I see industries that are associated with the construction business, namely the flooring industry, those folks don't invest hundreds of millions of dollars in having products that are necessary as a part of construction unless they have a pretty good idea that construction is coming back. You've heard some of the announcements in that arena that have already been made. Stay tuned. There will be even more jobs that are coming to Georgia. Without dwelling too much on the politics of the day, because this is a day to remember our freedom, but it does matter what your government does. It does matter what the policies of your government happen to be. We made a decision when I came into office that we wanted to rebuild the job base for our Georgia citizens. And folks, we are now in excess of 250,000 new private sector jobs in 3.5 years, and it is growing every week. That's part of the reason we've been named #1 as the #1 state in which to do business in this country. We're going to try to keep it that way. But it takes good policy to be able to do that. One of the policy decisions we made was that we wanted to have a resurgence of manufacturing in Georgia. And we did that to stimulate it by removing the sales tax on energy used for manufacturing. So big, small, currently in our state or coming to our state, this is a huge incentive for them to be in our state of Georgia and to provide jobs for our citizens. So that's our direction. We want to keep it going that way. We know we have challenges on a number of fronts, education being one of them, but we're going to continue to press and put the money in the right places to make sure we get the best results. And I am pleased that we've been able to do that. Now let's just step back a minute and talk about this day. You know, we didn't have political parties as such really until about the election of 1800. And from that point forward, we have had political parties. The names have changed, the things they stand for have shifted, but nevertheless, it is a part of the process and the fabric of our republic. If you believe in the principles of smaller government, more efficient government, government that does what needs to be done but gets out of the way so that the private sector can do what it needs to do, then you are rightfully a member of the Republican Party. Let's make sure we stand united, because this election year, the other party is going to pour a lot of outside money into this state. As you will notice from the candidates, especially those at the top of the ticket on the other side, they're going to have probably a vast majority of their money to support their campaigns coming from outside of the state of Georgia. Now, we don't need to be told how to govern ourselves or how to govern our country by folks that are not from our part of this United States. That's the distinction that Republicans have. We have hometown support. And I thank you for that. It's now my honor to introduce to you one of your own, and he is the individual who has represented the 6th Congressional District now for many years. He has been a colleague of mine when I was in the United States House. He does a great job. He is moving up through the leadership ranks of the Republicans in the United States House of Representatives. My honor to introduce to you my friend and your representative, Tom Price.
Thank you. Thank you. Give a huge round of applause to Governor Deal. Come on out. Thank you so much. Hello, Cobb Republicans. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. Thanks so much to Joe and Billy Dendy and all of you for the incredible work that you're doing. For those of us who have the honor of serving in elective office, none of us could do that without the wonderful support of those of you in this room. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And as the governor said, we've got to redouble our efforts. As you well know, things at the national level aren't moving in the right direction. We've got huge, huge problems and huge challenges. You think about what's happening down on the border, the incredible affront to humanity that's happening down on the border, the incredible delinquency of this administration. I sent a short email to the president the other day. I said, ignore the politics, enforce the law. I have come to the conclusion that this president is the biggest opponent to immigration reform. He wants this to be the disaster that it is down there. Very, very troubling. It's a president that's AWOL, not absent without leave, but absent without leadership. There's no leadership coming out of the White House at this point. So whether it's the border, whether it's Iraq, whether it's the Bergdahl, the Taliban 5 trade, whether it's the VA scandal, whether it's the IRS doing things that nobody ever dreamed the IRS would do, or whether it's Benghazi and the incredible affront to the imperative of us defending our men and women in harm's way, this administration is AWOL, absent without leadership. The only way that we're going to be able to turn that around, I've had a number of folks say, well, why doesn't the House cut off the money? Well, as you all know, in our system, it requires the House and the Senate. It requires a unified legislative branch. So the only way we're going to be able to move forward is to make certain that we're unified after this fall's election. We need to increase our numbers in the House and increase our numbers in the Senate so that we can get a Republican majority of the United States Senate. Then we can put the bills on the president's desk and say, okay, sign them or veto them. Do whatever you want to do, but we won't stand for no leadership anymore. And there's some out there who are running for office who don't think that you all matter, who don't think that the folks on the ground matter, don't think that grassroots is important, don't think that the work that you and I have done for years and years and years, oftentimes for decades, is important in all of this process. The only way this country works is when the people engage in the political process. And I would suggest to you that now is a time to engage like never before. If we're going to turn this country around, it's going to take the work of every single individual in this room and folks just like you all across this great country. So the challenge is to reinvigorate yourself, take the enthusiasm that you've gotten from this day, take it home and infect your neighbors and your friends and your relatives with the enthusiasm to get involved in the political process. Make certain that you're supporting those folks who want limited government, slower taxes, less regulation. We want a federal government that recognizes that federalism is the bedrock of this nation. And that means that states have to be supreme in the laws that they pass in their state, not getting directives from Washington on high. So thank you so very much for all that you're doing. God bless you. God bless America. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Governor. Right now, we're going to have Gary Black come back up. Gary, where are you? Gary Black. Gary Black. Oh, there he is. We're singing God Bless America. Y'all can stand or sit. Or just stand for this song I always have to stand. How are you going to get enough of this?
At GOP meetings, we've talked about this a lot. If you have to remember, I hope that we will all remember, particularly in these times that we are. When the first part of this talk talks about the storm clouds rising, we're in the midst of that storm now, but it's going to take all of us working hard to get out of that storm this November and then carry that forward the next couple of years to return our country. But remember, God Bless America is a prayer. And it starts like this. I'm going to ask you to join in with me in just a second. While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, I will swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for this land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
We have one more thing we're going to do here. We're going to listen to music, and then we're going to have our candidates come up and speak. For your information, some people think that you need a straw poll every time you get this many people together. But we're not in a straw poll today. We're just here to enjoy it. We want our candidates to enjoy it and not feel pressured. And quite honestly, if you notice, we rearranged the tables this time to where we can accommodate about 200 more people. And I think we're probably going to have a full house again. So I want to welcome y'all again here and thank y'all for spending your day with us. You know, the Georgia Republican Party, can I have your attention please? The Georgia Republican Party is doing a lot of things that are new. And one of the things that John Padgett has instigated are some committees that work with the different groups and do different things. Right now we have going to be joining us on the stage our first Vice Chairman Michael McNeely and our second Vice Chairman Ron Johnson. And each one of them is going to briefly tell you about their particular project that they're doing. Both of these projects are very important. I think if you listen to what they're talking about, you will hear just how important they are. What we're going to do then is